Hey, BookTube Sean here, and today I'm going to be doing my middle grade March MBR. You guys know I don't do TBRs very well. I don't like to feel tied in to reading certain things. If I say that, if I do a TBR and I say this is my to be read, then I feel like I am committed to those books, and if I read anything outside of those books, I feel bad about not reading the books that I said I was going to read, and it starts this cycle, and I just shut down and I don't read anything, and I go into a slump. I don't like going into slumps. I like to read. So, and I'm a big mood reader, so I do MBRs, might be reads. And Krista at Books and Jams and Katie at Light Between Words are hosting a readathon for the entire month of March called Middle Grade March. And it is similar to Nonfiction November in that it just is trying to get people to add middle grade reading into their reading life, or read more middle grade than they might already do. So like if you read no middle grade, read one middle grade, congratulations, you've successfully done Middle Grade March. And has somebody who failed Nonfiction November by reading 0 nonfiction books, I'm horrible at readathons, but I think this is one that I can actually handle because I do want to read more middle grade this year. I want to add that back into my reading life. I used to a long time ago. Because of course the Harry Potter books. I read 4.5 of those. I got stalled at 5. So, like I said in my 2018 goals video, I want to reread the ones I read and finish the ones I never got to. Of that. So that got me into the mindset of wanting to read more middle grade, because I know there's some really great middle grade fiction out there that adults can enjoy too. So yeah, so I thought it was a great idea, and excuse me, I really wanted to be a part of it. So here is my middle grade March might be read. The first one is an old childhood favorite, The Indian in the Cupboard by Lynne Reed Banks. This is one of the books that got me into reading. And I just loved this book as a kid. If you don't know this story, aren't familiar with the book, aren't familiar with the movie, a little boy gets a little toy Indian for his birthday. He doesn't like it, so he puts it in his cupboard, locks it with this mysterious skeleton key, and the Indian comes to life. And then they go on these grand adventures. There's 5 books in this series. I didn't even know that. I only knew of 2. So I'm going to go back to this and revisit this book from my childhood for Middle Grade March. Another book I'm going to revisit from my childhood, and I don't even remember that much about. I did a description of this. I read the description of this in my my Weekend Books video. But the Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner, and it says Henry, Jesse, Violet, and Benny are brothers and sisters. They're orphans too, and the only way they can stay together is to make it on their own. When the children find an abandoned boxcar in the woods, they decide to call it home and become the Boxcar Children. When I came across this book, again, as soon as I saw the title, I got filled with just these warm childhood memories. I can't believe I even forgot about these books. I know I read them all when I was a kid, but these children, they live in the boxcar, and they have these little adventures and mysteries to solve, and I just remember really enjoying it. So yeah, I really want to see if I get the warm fuzzies again, going back to this, and see how much my memory sparks as I'm reading it. Let's see, I've already gone away from the order of my list here, so let's get back into my list. And so another one I want to read is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. And I have this on my Kindle, but this is about this town gives up a baby, sacrifices a baby to this witch so that the witch will leave them alone. Now the witch finds these babies. The witch has no desire to harm the town, and she keeps wondering why these babies keep getting abandoned. So she finds good homes for the babies, and she let's see. And she nourishes these babies with starlight on their journey to their new families. And then one year, the witch accidentally feeds a baby moonlight, and moonlight gives the baby extraordinary magic. So this is about, as the title says, the girl who drank the moon. I don't remember. I apologize. I don't remember who. I know I saw a booktuber talk about this, and they really enjoyed it, and I can't remember who it was. But the way they described it made me really interested in it, and it was on sale on Kindle for $1.99 one day, so I picked it up. And I'd really like to try and get to it for middle grade March. Leave it to me to be talking about middle grade books and drinking beer. Anyway, another one I want to try and get to is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Machine of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. And I'll just read the back of this real quick. So if you saw my weekend books, I didn't really have time in the video to read the back, so I'm going to read the back now. The signpost before her now was made of pale wind-bleached wood and towered above her. On the easterly arm, someone had carved in deep, elegant letters, "To lose your way." On the northerly arm, pointing up to the tops of the cliffs, it said, "To lose your life." On the southerly arm, pointing out to sea, it said, "To lose your mind." And on the westerly arm, pointing up to a little headland and a dwindling of the golden beach, it said, "To lose your heart." September is a girl who longs for adventure. When she is invited to fairyland by a green wind and a leopard, well, of course she accepts. Mightn't you? But fairyland is in turmoil, and it'll take one 12-year-old girl, a book-loving dragon, and a strange and almost human boy named Saturday to vanquish an evil marquis and restore order. Not since Oz has there been a land or a cast of characters so rich and entrancing. Robin at the Dribbles Reader and James Chatham at James Chatham both really raved about this book, and it got me really interested to read it. That's not straight from my list. I did the Boxcar Children. Next is Wildwood by Colin Malloy. I saw this on a BookTube channel last year, and it was even before I joined BookTube myself, so I don't remember whose channel I saw it on, but it sounded interesting, and I really liked. They showed, whoever it was showed the artwork in it, and if I just passed one. The illustrations in it looked nice, and it's illustrated by Carson Ellis. But Prue McKeel's life is ordinary. That is, until her brother is abducted by a murder of crows and taken to the impassable wilderness, a dense, tangled forest on the edge of Portland. No one's ever gone in, or at least returned to tell of it. So begins an adventure that will take Prue and her friend Curtis deep into the impassable wilderness. There they uncover a secret world in the midst of violent upheaval. A world full of warring creatures, peaceable mystics, and powerful figures with the darkest intentions. And what begins as a rescue mission becomes something much greater as the two friends find themselves entwined in the struggle for the very freedom of this wilderness, a wilderness the locals call Wildwood. That just sounded really cool, and I bought it as a way to kind of get me back into reading middle grade books, but I never got to it last year, so hopefully I will get to it, if not in middle grade March, then hopefully definitely this year. The next one I want to pick up is called Nevermore. I did not pull that up. Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. And I don't know who it's by because I didn't pull it up. But it is nominated for the middle grade category of the BookTube SFF Awards, which is one of the reasons I want to pick it up. And then I read the description. Sure, why not? Description. And it sounded really cool. And I love the cover art, and I will have the cover art up here. Yeah, I probably already do. Morgan Crow is cursed, having been born on Eventide, the unluckiest day for any child to be born. She's blamed for all local misfortunes, from hailstorms to heart attacks, and worst of all, the curse means that Morgan is doomed to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. But as Morgan awaits her fate, a strange and remarkable man named Jupiter North appears. Chased by black smoke hounds and shadowy hunters on horseback, he whisks her away into the safety of a secret, magical city called Nevermore. It's then that Morgan discovers that Jupiter has chosen her to contend for a place in the city's most prestigious organization, the Wondrous Society. In order to join, she must compete in 4 difficult and dangerous trials against hundreds of other children, each boasting an extraordinary talent that sets them apart, an extraordinary talent that Morgan insists she does not have. To stay in the safety of Nevermore for good, Morgan will need to find a way to pass the tests, or she'll have to leave the city to confront her deadly fate. Perfect for fans of Harry Potter and series and Neil Gaiman, this fast-paced plot and imaginative world has a fresh new take on magic that will appeal to a new generation of readers. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. So, and like I said, it's nominated for the BookTube SSF Award, so I want to try and, read I'm not going to put a ton of pressure on it, but I want to try and read as many of the nominees for the BookTube SSF Awards as I can. This one and another one that's nominated for middle grade are probably the only ones for the middle grade category I'll read, because I really don't have much interest in the Rick Riordan book, and I don't want to read all the books I need to read to even know what's going on in that world to read the book that's nominated. So I'm not even gonna bother with it. But that's Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. I never told you the author. Back to my little spreadsheet here. Another one what just happened? Another one I want to read is The Uncommoners, #1, The Crooked Sixpence by Jennifer Bell. And that one I did pull up. Again, I heard a booktuber talk about this. I don't remember who it was. It was a long time ago. And as busy as I've been, a month ago was a long time ago for me right now. But I know it was longer than a month ago. It might have even been before I started BookTube. But whatever they said about it really interested me, so I'll just read the blurb. Welcome to a world where nothing is quite as it seems. When their grandmother Sylvia is rushed to the hospital, Ivy Sparrow and her annoying big brother Seb cannot imagine what adventure lies in store. Soon their house is ransacked by unknown intruders, and a very strange policeman turns up on the scene determined to apprehend them with a toilet brush. That's enough for me, right there. A policeman showing up to apprehend them with a toilet brush? That's my sense of humor. Ivy and Seb make their escape only to find themselves in a completely uncommon world, a secret underground city called Londonor, where ordinary objects have amazing powers. There are belts that enable the wearer to fly, yo-yos that turn into weapons, buttons with healing properties, and other enchanted objects capable of very unusual feats. But the forces of evil are closing in fast, and when Ivy and Seb learn that their family is connected to one of the greatest uncommon treasures of all time, they must race to unearth the treasure and get to the bottom of a family secret before it's too late. So, again, I like books that I like alternate worlds. And I blame Neil Gaiman for that, because his book Neverwhere with the alternate London, the underground London, I loved that book. And I just like worlds underneath the world that we live in. So yeah, that concept right there intrigued me. And like I said, apprehend them with a toilet brush. That speaks to the Monty Python fan in me. And if I've never told you guys before, I am a nut for to say I'm a Monty Python fan or fanatic is a gross understatement. So that just spoke right to me. Anyway, tangent over. So yeah, that Uncommoners #1, The Crooked Sixpence by Jennifer Bell. And of course I'm not done, because I just can't ever choose books. Another one I'd like to try and get to, and I wondered if this one was middle grade or YA. But I read some things that put it into the middle grade category. But it's Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor, and I really like Nnedi Okorafor, so I wanted to read this no matter what classification book it was. But since I read a lot of things that said it was more of a middle grade book, I figured I'd throw it on my MBR. But it's 12-year-old Sunny lives in Nigeria, but she was born American. Her features are African, but she's albino. She's a terrific athlete, but can't go out into the sun to play soccer. There seems to be no place where she fits in. And then she discovers something amazing. She is a free agent with latent magical power. Soon she's part of a quartet of magic students, studying the visible and invisible, learning to change reality. But will it be enough to help them when they are asked to catch a career criminal who knows magic too? And that sounds interesting, but it's Nnedi Okorafor. I want to read everything Nnedi Okorafor has written. So that's really all I needed was her name attached to it. Another one I want to get to is the aforementioned other middle grade book that is nominated for the BookTube SFF Awards, and that is The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. And this one says, Prosperity Redding is the only unexceptional member of his very successful family. That is, until he discovers a demon living inside him. Turns out Prosper's great something grandfather made and then broke a contract with a malefactor, a demon who exchanges fortune for eternal servitude. Now Alistair, the malefactor, has reawakened and is intent on destroying the Redding fortune unless they can kill him in the body he inhabits. Which, oh wait, that's Prosper. And why is his grandmother coming at him with a silver blade? And that's really all I needed right there. I didn't even finish, when I was reading it myself, I didn't even finish reading the description because that's all I needed right there. Immediately, that's all I needed to be interested in the book. So, I can get that one off of Hoopla. So, if I get to that one, great. If not, I'll get to it before the SFF awards are announced. And then the only other thing I'm going to try and do is, I talked about in my goals video that I want to reread Harry Potter. I even mentioned it earlier in this video, I think. So I had started The Sorcerer's Stone, my reread of that. So hopefully I will finish this and get into Chamber of Secrets next month. So that's it. That's my might be read for middle grade March. I can't even do this in, well, barely 20 minutes. So, sorry guys, my videos are just long. Anyway, that's it. Thank you to all my subscribers. Any new subscribers that I have, welcome. I'm happy to have you, and I will see you all in my next video.